Yo, what the fuck is up? Welcome back to Nate Sunday Sesh. It's your boy Nate.
It's your boy Deej.
And we back, and today we are actually not where we usually are. We are in Passport, and we are with AC Elite and Chris from Passport. So if we can just go down the line so you guys can introduce yourselves, starting with.
I'm Alex, part of AC Elite.
I'm Anthony. I'm the other part of AC Elite.
And I'm Chris. I'm part of Passport.
It's the crew.
So the whole reason why we are here today is because AC Elite and Passport are combining for a store and Paso Robles for a storefront for clothes and sneakers and sports memorabilia. So we can kind of just get straight into that. So what is the store all about? Because we know that AC Elite is like sneakers and sports memorabilia, but what's the future for that?
Right. So, as far as AC Elite goes, we started off with sports memorabilia, signed sports memorabilia. We tied it up with sneakers, Yeezys, Jordans, everything, the hottest sneakers that you can get. Chris has been a huge mentor along the way, so, we kind of collaborated with him and, what he brings to the table with Passport.
So it's been actually like, for me personally, just like to me, it's been like everything's been like a smooth accident, because basically the first time that we met, we were doing a pop-up. And I was like, the sky's the limits, fellas. They kind of came to me asking me, like, yo, like, what is it like running a store? And I was like, it's really what you make it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if you guys were down to open a store, I would be down to do it, because I know Paso is like an untapped territory, and I haven't met anybody with as much like energy towards actually like doing retail as you guys in a minute. And I've been doing this. So I met them. I guess it was a seed planted, because like we did our pop up here, and they got to see the way I worked, and sometimes I could be a hard ass. So like I'm like almost like a perfectionist in what I want done, and they were just like, yeah, totally for it, totally willing to learn. And then they came, and I had seen Alex at an event. It was a long haul event, and that night he's like, I have some news for you, like, but I don't want to tell you right now. Then I was like, all right, well, thanks for leaving me hanging. And then he's like, and then essentially we all met up, and they said, we found a storefront, and we actually want to follow up on that idea of combining both Passport and AC Elite. And for me, it was just like a no-brainer, because it's like the relationship that we had built just in that pop-up it's like early stages of me, like the eagerness and willing to learn. So I felt like it was a good fit. And also they know the territory of Passport, and I mean, they know the territory of Paso. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome to see like two individuals that like are passionate about growing something in their area, and it's not necessarily just about them. And that's the message that I give from Passport, is just like helping people grow in community in some place that's not. That's my take on it, but right.
Yeah, that's super dope. That's really dope.
And Paso's weak as fuck when it comes to this lane of style shoes. There's no market for it besides the two board shops that are downtown. So it's cool to see you guys broaden the horizon and start to make that footstep. Take that next step forward.
Yeah. That's about to change, because we knew from the beginning, even when we were just doing sports memorabilia, we learned real quick that like the people around you that are doing something like you, or even the exact same thing as you, if they have success, it brings success to you. So, when we got the idea of, coming here and collaborating with Chris, it was just about, like, how can we help each other? Like, how could we bring a certain culture in and combine it with his culture, and how could that help us both? And, like, there was really, like you said right at the beginning, like, the sky was the limit, so it was just a no-brainer.
It's dope, because I'm proud of where I live, but I feel like out of like the scale of things, Paso definitely needs to step it up as far as like young and like different lanes, because everything is all like it's board
country
shop
based,
or country or like boutique shop downtown. Like that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Other than restaurants. So.
Right. So for me, seeing like exactly what you're saying, it's I coach basketball too, so it's just the transition's happening, but the kids just don't have an outlet, So, the kids I coach, they have Yeezys on, they have, Billionaires Boys Club. They have all these, nice outfits and stuff, but it's just to get that style, they have to go out of the area. So we want to kind of bring that locally for these, youth and stuff. It's definitely transitioning, but, there's nowhere in Paso that has a place like this.
Nowhere.
That's tight.
Yeah,
absolutely nowhere.
I think that's cool.
It's honestly so dope.
Like for me, it's different too because like I was already looking to open another store before these two geniuses came with the idea before me. But they did everything. Like I'm just gonna say that I've just been participating. Like they found the location. They've done the footwork and they've figured out like they've even talked to me about it about like what our target audience is in Paso. Like kind of like before we even did this, like they were just like, well, this is who we want. We know this person exists. This is our customer, because that's always who I am. I'm always like, okay, who's our customer? And it's just like, it was no hesitation. They're like, this is our customer. Like, and it's just like, even because they can even tell you like some of the shoes that they plan on bringing in is not your typical LA customer, but is definitely like tailoring towards Paso and just the area, which I think is tight.
Yeah, that's super dope. So how did you two get like started together, and how did you guys meet for AC Elite?
Man, so it's kind of crazy. You know, me and him, we started working together at a group home together. And I remember I was just driving down to San Diego and, you know, texting and driving. That's what I'm good at. So, you know, I'm on my phone while I'm driving, and this dude texts me a long message, and I'm trying to read it on the freeway. And it's basically just like, hey, man, you know, we're always talking sports at work. You know, why can't we, you know, start up our own business? Because you know, his family has something kind of similar. So, you know, we're like, let's just do it. So when I came back to town, you know, we sat down, talked about it, and initially started with sports memorabilia, which is more like his field. And then, you know, I brought in the sneakers, and we just, you know, got off and running with it. So
that's pretty
you know,
dope.
you could, you know,
Yeah, it was just like from the beginning for me, it was just like an itch to run my own thing, you know, whether it be a business or a side hustle or whatever it was. At the time, you know, me and Alex had a pretty cool relationship at work. You know, we weren't too good of friends to where we would have to, you know, sugarcoat shit with each other. But, you know, we trusted each other because we worked together and we had each other's back on like a professional level. So I knew, you know, that when the wheels started turning in my mind, I knew definitely I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. So I reached out to him and I was just like, you know, I trust you on a professional level. We've always worked together and held each other accountable for things that, you know, like in our own workplace. And I definitely don't want to work there forever. You know, nothing against it, but I've always wanted to be my own boss one day. So, you know, for me, it was just like a matter of one day waking up and thinking, you know, sports at the time was what I loved the most. And that was what I wanted to combine with owning a business. And then when I hit him up, you know, at the beginning, there was no real vision. You know, it was just like, I bet you we could, you know, connect with people who want sports memorabilia in a way to where they would want to support us by buying it from us, you know. And at the beginning, it wasn't really about making money. It was kind of about just kind of seeing if we could even do it. And then after a while, we realized, you know, we knew enough people locally, and they saw the passion that we had, that we can eventually maybe even open up a store, you know, and a store would allow us to like live in the business, you know, 24/7. And that's really what I wanted from the beginning.
I mean, how we really started was, you know, on a Facebook group. You know, Facebook has a whole, you know, different world with groups and stuff. So we started a group.
I'm just gonna fix it.
Yeah, we got a big following through the Facebook group, and then you know, we launched the Instagram page, and we did like live breaks and stuff with the memorabilia. We kind of just got a following, you know, people to support us and, you know, bring something different to the Central Coast. You know, there's nothing really where you can get signed sports memorabilia in this area. So then when we brought the shoes on, you know, who doesn't like shoes? You know,
Right.
so then
There's hella sneakerheads in Paso. They're just low key. They're quiet.
It's such a big crossover between people who love sports and who love sneakers, or people who love sneakers and who love sports. It's like such a natural crossover. It's crazy that, like, in all my time being involved with sports memorabilia and all, you know, his time being a sneakerhead, we've never really seen that come together. So when we thought about it, we were like, okay, well, this is original. It's something different. Let's see if it works, you know? Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that's super dope. So how do you even get into sports memorabilia other than being like a casual fan? Like, did you find something that made you want to go after it, or like how does that initially
Well, for me,
start?
I mean, I got a cousin back home. This guy used to sell cell phones. I mean, this guy can sell anything. I've seen him sell basically anything. I mean, use your imagination. But he ended up selling cell phones in the mall in a little, you know,
Use your imagination.
out of a kiosk in the mall. I mean, I'm not going to elaborate on that, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. That he was selling cell phones at a kiosk in the mall, and a shop opened up. And he ended up opening up a sports memorabilia type store, you know, with he lives in Toronto, so it was a lot of Toronto-based stuff. And, you know, I started watching him do it, and then I hit him up, and I was like, hey, man, like, is this what you're doing now? You run this store? And he's like, yeah, man, like, I just love sports, and I want to, you know, that's what I want to do for a living. I don't really like cell phones, but I put food on the table for my kids. But now I'm in the sports business, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. And then it just kind of clicked for me right there. I was like, you know, he could have said anything, but for me, it just so happened that it was sports too. At the time, it was something that, you know, I was really passionate about, and I thought, shit, I can do this shit too, you know?
Right.
Like, why not give it a shot, basically?
Yeah, without giving up like your sauce or anything, like how do you even find shit like that? Like where do you look for sports memorabilia?
Honestly, there's a huge community for that kind of stuff. I feel like there's a huge community for everything if you go and look for it. But, you know, just on Facebook, you know, the algorithms and stuff, once you start following one person, other people will pop up. And, you know, at the beginning, I was kind of a spectator. And then I started taking part in little raffles that they had in different Facebook groups, you know, raffling off signed memorabilia. You know, at first I did it just to support my cousin, but after a while I thought it was pretty cool. And then I realized there's other people doing it all across Facebook. And, you know, Facebook doesn't really have borders. So in my mind, the first thing I thought was these people are all competing with each other, you know, but when I get into something, I get real obsessed with it. So I started following all the groups, and I realized that the groups that were the most successful were the ones that had crossover with other groups, and they were helping each other and collaborating with each other. So that's when I kind of knew, like, this is kind of a community that I'd be cool with getting involved in, you know, because I could get involved, and because of my history of support in that community, they would support me back. So, like, that's kind of where it came from. And then just to acquire sports memorabilia was real easy. I mean, so many people have such big collections that they're always trying to get rid of stuff to get more stuff, and it just cycles through like that, you know?
What is
You're
it?
smart. Yeah, I didn't even realize this. I never asked him any of these things. So I'm just like, damn. Like,
It's a
I'm
whole-
over here and all. I'm just.
It's a whole different world. It's
Oh,
all-
God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. You can really.
Yeah, I mean, you
Just
can get
jaw
into
dropped
it. I
over
mean,
here.
there's, I wouldn't say there's a lot of money to be made, because really most of the time, people who run Facebook groups to, you know, bring people together in a community, they're not
like a
really
hobby.
even profiting. They're just
a hobby.
using it as a hobby. And really, you know, to be honest, we haven't really profited yet either. We're just trying to establish some kind of culture in Paso Robles. I think if you asked us what kind of culture that is, we don't really even know yet, but we're just trying to do what we're passionate about, and with hopes that other people will be passionate too. And I mean, it's got us to this point. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's working out pretty good so far.
So what do your memorabilia range from? Like, I know I've seen jerseys, I've seen like helmets, balls, paws.
It's
Yeah, I mean,
it's
we got signed jerseys. We have helmets, footballs, basketballs. I mean, that's really for the most part the extent of it so far. But I mean, the sky, like, there's really no limit to.
It's really
things
untapped
that,
right
yeah.
now. We haven't really, you know, we really want the greats, you know, like the big name pieces, but you know that comes with time and, you know, finding that culture and, you know, what's gonna, you know, what people are gonna want, you know, like Kobe Bryant, you know, anything like that, you know, Shaq, Michael Jordan, all those pieces, those are what the people want, you know, but we haven't had, you know, the ability to obtain those yet, you know, but
Right.
we definitely will down the road.
So, how do you? This is a little bit a left turn because I was just thinking about it in my brain. How did you get into sneakers? Because that's kind of a whole different lane in itself. I mean, you can obviously grow up like liking sneakers and
Yeah.
stuff, but like, how did that all start for you?
Man, for me, it was just, you know, I'm fortunate. I'm an only child, so I was pretty spoiled growing up. But, you know, just, you know, growing up, I had, you know, I wanted every Jordan, you know. So I had the Jordans, I had the Dada spinners, I had like all kinds of hoop shoes that everybody would come to school and be like, oh man, you got these shoes.
We
like,
had
damn.
Shaqs and he had everything else.
Right, exactly. So, you know, I had it, and then, you know, times would get tough, and, you know, as I got older and I had, you know, 20, 30 Jordans in my closet, and I'm like, man, I could just sell these to, you know, pay a bill or, you know, have some extra spending money. So, you know, I started seeing you buy a pair of Jordans for $220, wear them a few times, keep them in good condition, you can resell them for $120, you know, so I still got some money back. Paid my you know, bills, or had extra money with them, and I was just like, man, this really works. People will buy those shoes off you for half price, you know. So it's always just been something of mine since middle school. Really, I just love shoes. And then, you know, once the memorabilia kind of slowed down a little bit, I came to him and I was like, yo, man, we could really, you know, get some shoes going. You know, I have a good sneaker knowledge, so, you know, he's like, let's try it out. So we went to SneakerCon in San Jose. And that was a huge success, you know, is a whole new culture to us, seeing how it works, the shoe industry and all that. It's like a stock, so, you know, just how competitive it is and all that. So, and that was kind of the turning point for us to be able to combine the two and, you know, take off running with it. So
That's pretty dope.
yeah, it's crazy how the sneakers and sports memorabilia work. It's
Yeah, I think also too, like football season ended and it kind of got a little stagnant for us. So we knew we wanted to do something. And like when he had mentioned shoes and said that he was passionate about shoes, for me, like the first thing that came to my mind was like, you know, where I grew up, it wasn't really about like Jordans and things like that. I mean, I grew up in Toronto in Canada, so we didn't really have a big basketball scene. But I just remember being a kid, getting a new pair of shoes and like just going to school like 10 times more confident than you were going to school any other time, and just having like, you know, just a different kind of mood from it. You know, like whether it's an exclusive limited type of shoe or just a brand new pair of shoes, you know? So, you know, I think once we instituted shoes, that's when the wheels started like really turning for like, we should have a place people can come into, you know, hold the shoe in their hand, you know, pick something out from the wall, you know, be able to come in for a shoe, but also see other people's things like what Chris is doing, or, you know, some sports memorabilia or something like that, and just have kind of like an experience inside of a store, because, you know, just the culture kind of like brought us into that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's super dope. Totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Hate to do this. I gotta take a leak.
Go for it.
I gotta take a leak.
Yeah.
real
just
quick.
just go for it. I was gonna ask you, do you guys hit all the drops and stuff as far as like sneakers and stuff go?
I mean, right now we don't, but like, it's kind of crazy. Like from the beginning when we started shoes, we really knew we wanted to have a physical storefront. So our philosophy kind of changed in that we wanted to make sure every single move we made was centered around gaining awareness, brand awareness in our area. You know, and going out and buying a pair of shoes online and then reselling it ourselves. Yeah, that's cool and you can make money from it. But if we spend that money buying shoes off of somebody that lives in our community, we're putting that money back into the hands of someone who's a sneaker collector that might in turn down the line, when we open up a store, become a customer of ours and continue that whole, you know,
And I wanna
ecosystem
tune
that
into
that,
this
that we're
too.
kind of building, you know? Yeah, go ahead.
I do want to tune into this because it's like for me, like I had started by selling T-shirts outside of bars. We did an interview about that, but that's the thing is, it's like it didn't take much for me to realize that I want to do this. So for them, I feel like then that's one of the reasons that I am playing ball with them and I am going into the game with them, is because like it didn't take, they did like their pop-ups and stuff, and before like they just knew that they wanted to play this game.
right.
So I see that they want to play this game and that they're willing to learn and they're willing to go out there and figure it out. So that's just kind of how it is. Unfortunately, it's not. That's the unfortunate thing about the Central Coast, is like it's not like LA. You can't just go out and then figure out where all the drops at. We have to figure that out. We have to figure out the way that the sneaker community is out here, because you're not necessarily going to get people out here paying $2,000 for sneakers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you you will. I mean, and you'll get there and you'll figure those key pieces out. But like I said, I think it is that they're willing to
Oil spill.
learn this market.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this market also needs. Is we'll take a break on that.
It's all good. Oil
There's a
spill.
lot going on. But I think that and for overall for me that's and I think that's something that needs to be like talked about too. You know, it's like they're willing to come in here and learn, because together as a unit, it's a new market that we need to figure out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's honestly so dope, because back to what we were saying before about Paso and everything that's going on, I feel like you guys doing this is going to influence a whole new wave of new shit along the same lines of what you guys are doing, like in the same same lane, like the best way to put it. I
Yeah,
guess.
like our vision is not to be on top of all the drops, like on, you know, Yeezy Supply or the sneakers app or anything like that. What we would prefer is for local, you know, people in Paso Robles or anywhere on the Central Coast to go get them themselves and bring them to our store and sell them to us. We'll pay you more than retail for them, and then we could turn around and we can hook up somebody who walks into the store and is looking for that specific shoe, and then the money stays in this area. You know what I mean? It's like that intrigues us a lot more than, you know, setting up a system of bots with a computer and copying like 12 pairs and marking them up 3 times in our store. You know, we would rather just create that ecosystem so that connection can be made in store with people who are local. And I think at the end of the day, that's probably going to be the most self-sustaining model. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, piggybacking off of what Chris was talking about, about the whole, he sees like our passion and our drive and stuff, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna play ball with these guys. It's the same way for me. How I got to find out about Chris was through my friend Adam. It was during the long haul event. He was in the studio. Chris was there, and he's like, man, that's dope what you guys are doing. He's heard about the whole process, but then he's like, yo, you guys got to ask Chris, how he started up his story. So I remember I hit him up, and I was like, yo, man, how'd you start? And he's like, man, that's a long, kind of a crazy story. We could talk about it in person, So then I came in, kind of got to hear his background of how he started. And it's like, it's the same thing I see in me, It's just that drive, that passion. It's if you want something, you're going to go get it. Being told no is not how you're going to settle, So
Definitely.
with how we started up, I was just like, I got to get to know this guy. I got to learn from him, mentor, because I have no business background. He has a little bit from his family, but I have none. So I was taking as much advice and input from Chris as I could. Mm-hmm. And then, we kind of talked about, going back to the pop-ups, having a pop-up here. And it was kind of just like, we'll see if we get to it, And then we had one back in Paso at this gym called The Lab. And it was actually turned out to be pretty, better than we thought it was going to be, And then Chris kind of saw it, I think. And then he was just like, man, let's try something here. So then that's when we were really stoked, because this was our whole goal, was to be able to, work with him. And we had one here, and it was better than the first one, So, that's just kind of how we really started, and took off and running. And we're like, man, let's team up and let's bring something to the coast that hasn't been here before, So
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Definitely setting that staple here,
Right, yeah.
It's tight.
Let's go back to the store a little bit. So we haven't even talked about where it is. Where is the store for when it opens up and everything?
Right, this is a big announcement right here. So,
Yeah.
here.
Luckily, man,
It's by the wineries.
yeah, it's by the wineries, by the bars downtown,
yeah.
a busy street,
Yeah,
a lot of foot
yeah.
traffic. No, my buddy Junior, he owns a New Era Barbershop downtown Paso off of 13th Street. He came to us and asked us, he knew about the search of a storefront, came to us and asked us if we wanted to take over his location, so we couldn't pass up the opportunity. So yeah, it's right there on 13th Street, where New Era Barbershop used to be, right in the heart of downtown
327.
Paso.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
That's right there by
Across the street from that brand new hotel.
yeah, the one with the rooftop bar and everything, right behind CPK.
No, it's a little further down. So it's you pass Fish Gaucho a little bit, the neighborhood like Juice Bar and all that stuff right there on 13th Street.
Yeah, so we're right in between
Yeah.
Blast and Brew and the Hatch, basically on
The
13th.
Holy
Hatch,
shit,
yeah.
that's
that's
we
yeah.
were thinking a totally
We're
different
right
fucking
between
spot.
there,
That
right
is
near where
gnarly.
those crazy crosswalks are. We're right there.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Fuck,
Yeah,
we
so
were.
we
I don't know
were
why we
way
were
off.
Those
thinking.
crosswalks, like, I'm going? No, I'm not. I'm going? No, they're
Yeah.
going.
Oh, the
I'm
lights
going.
going.
And
yeah.
like,
That's a
just-
prime
like,
location.
Crosswalks are
They just need to
Yeah.
put red lights.
I'm like way more excited now because not that I wasn't excited before, but that's a super dope spot, dude.
Everyone
because
drives by that shit,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, that's just a testament of two idiots constantly talking about how they're going to open up a store.
Right.
That's all it is. It's
The-
like
the opportunity
we
got
just told
presented.
everybody who asked about what we were doing, we're like, oh, this is what we're doing, and we want to have a store in downtown Paso. And saying that often enough, you get a lot of reactions like, huh, yeah, right.
Right.
But after a while, you say it enough times, people start to realize like, oh, maybe these guys are actually serious
Yeah.
about it. And Junior did, and when
Speak it into
The-
existence.
Yeah.
when he moved, he recommended us, and it just kind of fell into place. And I mean,
Yeah.
we jumped at the
Like
opportunity.
everything's been
immediately.
strangely like falling into place.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to build like a Lego house and like you built it right the first time.
Yeah. Like,
well, it's like that saying, if you build it, they will come type of thing. Like you just kind of keep pushing the brand. It's kind of the same idea I have with the podcast and everything that I do, just for like media creation and everything. Like as long as everything looks good and it's set up and you're doing what you can on your own, like
Right.
the things will fall into place for you. However,
Yeah.
it's supposed to work out for you.
Yeah, 'cause-
I really do believe in that.
I mean, me and, we were telling Chris how we were looking for a storefront, and we looked all over Paso. We were looking around, and we're like, man, I don't know if this is going to work, And then one day, the message just popped up and was like, do you want this spot? And, I told Chris, and he was like, yeah, okay.
Well, they
he-
invited me to Paso.
Yeah.
I've never been to Paso. I've been in SLO. I'm
Exactly.
from Santa Maria, and then I moved to SLO when I opened this store, and then they showed me Paso, and I was like, what the fuck is this place? What is this? It reminds me of a mini New York. You got your little Central Park, and you got everybody just bebopping around. And I was like, so this is not like a fucking blow up house that they just blew this up overnight. They're like, nah, this has been here. And I was like, for real?
Yeah.
I'm there every weekend now. I'm just there, just bebopping around with a little wine glass, just chilling.
This guy's already a wine member.
I'm a
in
wine
Paso.
member. I got like 2 wine memberships the last time I was there. I was just like, this place is lit.
They
Like,
got you. They got you.
I was just like, what is this place?
Yeah.
It's like Disneyland.
So
It has a really good vibe to it, that's
Right.
for sure.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
everything right there is brand fucking new.
exactly.
You know,
got
13th
the whole
Street is
social
just like
setting is huge for us. You know, you got the backyard place that just opened. You got some of the
Blast and
sports
Brew.
bars that ties in with the culture
Yeah.
that we're trying to bring to the area. So
It's really
tight.
crazy because once we knew it was going to happen, you know, we didn't want to talk about it too much at first because there was a lot of, there was a lot of time in between the time we knew it was going to happen and the time it was actually going to happen. But every time we talked about it, it just seemed like the person we were talking to, their face just lit up.
Yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, that's exactly what we need down here, or that's exactly what I want down here, or that's just a great idea, and it just fit somehow in an area where it's never been before.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That's gonna be
It's
super
cool.
sick.
Paso's cool. Paso's cool.
Yeah, you like Paso?
I think it's
Big
tight.
ol'
I went
fan
into
base.
all the. I haven't told these guys, but I was drunk and I went into all of the women's boutiques and I was like, "Yeah, we're opening a store." And they're like, "Are
There you
you?
go.
Are
Yeah,
you
see?
really?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Yeah, lady, send them my way."
That's so
Right.
funny. That's so funny. I think that's going to be great because of like the way that people look at Passport now, especially for my little brother and his friends. So, like they're
Yeah.
all into the
Hype
whole
beast.
passport
Oh, it's
thing.
Hype
crazy.
piece
Yeah,
of shit.
it's
I knew a lot of people when I was there too. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's the guy from Passport. Like, go say hi." Sorry, go say hi. Go say hi. I was like, "Bro, I'm human and I can hear you."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it'll definitely turn into a culture.
Right.
That'll be super sick.
so we're trying to run a cult.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We're going to get a log cabin,
Yeah.
So what's it gonna look like? I think that's like one of the big questions people are gonna have. Like, is it gonna be half shoes, half like what's? Can you
So
give people a
that's-
taste?
Yeah,
That's-
I mean, we're not necessarily splitting it up. It's definitely going to be cohesive, but I think it's going to be half Passport and half AC Elite.
That'd
It's gonna
be
mesh
sick.
together real well. Though. It's
We're
not gonna-
we're because of the nature of the storefront, we're focusing a lot more on shoes than we are on sports memorabilia. It's going to be there. It's going to be available, and it's definitely going to be available per request too. But shoes are going to cover a good amount of the store. We want to make sure that if somebody comes in to buy a pair of shoes, they don't really know what they want, that there's going to be something there that they're going to like and they're going to want to buy.
That'll be cool.
That's
For
been our
me,
biggest.
it's been wanting to be like twisted up, so it's gonna be more. For me, it's gonna be more boutique-y because we are with the limited amount of space. So for me, it's like I still do want, like, we've been evolving Passport into more of a high-end boutique. So with them doing the sneakers, like I'm gonna bring in some of the higher-end pieces, alongside with the affordable pieces as well. But I definitely think the vibe of it is going to be more boutique-y because, I mean, they're going to have one sneaker out, so I would like to have one piece of garment out as well. So we're definitely working towards more of an elevated experience, customer service-based look to where it's like, how can I help you type vibe, opposed to be like, yeah, grab a large.
Yeah, I really like that you're giving all these other like kind of sketchy skate shops a run for their money as far as like clothes.
Yeah,
and-
it's dope because there's no. We keep on saying there's just no lane for anything besides Billabong, Volcom,
Yeah.
shit
Salty
like that.
Crew.
It's
Alliance, the same.
the wave of kids of this generation is so gnarly into hype beast, the sneaker scene. It's crazy.
Right.
Because
and
it's a lifestyle.
It is. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. It's
a
not
fucking
like
lifestyle.
retail. It's like and I give it to skate shops and I give it to those shops out there as well because they are a lifestyle, but their lifestyle is skate surf activewear. Our like this is actual like lifestyle. Like like it's almost you come in and that's the same thing with this Passport here. You come in, you know. If you don't know, I'll educate you. So this is more like we're giving off an experience, a piece of sports memorabilia. And I know for a fact we're gonna get many people be like, why is this jersey that much? And Amps here is going to have like an hour-long conversation about it. So you don't just walk into that surf shop. You walk in and you buy that red Billabong shirt because you think it matches with your blue jeans. Well, here you're buying this piece because it actually has meaning to it, and this is the story behind it. Or like Obey here, they do stuff like fair trade. It's like human rights. It's like messages. So like what we do is like I say, I don't sell clothes. I sell a lifestyle. So this is another lifestyle shop.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty dope.
It's kind of crazy to think about, like, I think about having a store one day, and it's weird. Like, you don't think about someone coming in and buying one of your things. I kind of think about someone coming in to see what we have today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of culture that I want to create, is like, I want someone to, be in downtown Paso and think to themselves, I'm trying to go into Elite Passport just to see what's on the wall today.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what kind of products they have in right now, and if they buy something, that's great.
All about the experience.
Yeah, we want to create like a culture to where, people get excited about just coming in just to see what's going to be there.
Yeah.
Because, we don't really, I know I've been in here plenty of times, and I'm always just going from shelf to shelf, like, what's going to be on this shelf? What's going to be on that shelf? This is dope. That's dope. And that for me is like, the reason why I walk into a store. Like, if I need to buy some socks or something, I got somewhere to go. But for me, I want to create a culture where someone could come in just with the hopes of just being like, I want to see what's on their shelves. And even if they walk out without buying anything, like, that's still the experience that I want to create,
Yeah. Kind of back to everything falling in place, like how you guys were saying for your whole movement and stuff. This year is going to be like the craziest summer for you too, because it's the 75th anniversary of the fair. And like they just got the national recognition for being like the top 10 fair or something for the country, something. It was all over Instagram and Facebook.
That fair is the only reason I knew about Paso in the first place. I literally, it was just like the fair, like they just set the city up for the fair, right?
Yeah.
Like, not really. There's
Basically,
no infrastructure for the fair whatsoever.
Yeah. But I didn't know that. Like before, I was like, there's like, and that's what I was tripping. I'm going back to the first time I seen Paso. He walked me around, and I was just like, this place. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I know that Paso has got it going on.
Dude, it's evolved crazy, man. Growing up in that town, it's just like nothing. Now you got wineries. I mean, you'll see Maseratis, Bentleys. I mean, the money is coming to the town.
Wallets are entering from the 101.
Well, Johnny Depp just bought a pad in Paso, I guess.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, you just had the
We're
Dodger
have to
players.
get fedoras, gentlemen.
You just had you had Jock Peterson and Austin Barnes visiting Paso for a whole week, So
Wait, for real?
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
were
hear
just
that.
stayed at a winery for a whole week, and they went to Pappy's.
Pink was singing at
Pine Street.
Pine Street.
That was the same
karaoke
same
night.
weekend.
Pulled up,
Yeah.
just singing.
So it's definitely getting more noticed on the map. So
A lot of people, when I was telling my reps, like as I was growing the store, I was like, "Oh, I'm from San Luis Obispo." They're like, "Oh, that by Paso, right?" Like people I didn't know, and they're like,
that's
"Oh
a
yeah, I've been
pinpoint.
wine tasting everywhere." I was just like,
Yeah,
I don't know about that place.
Paso's coming the new Napa. It's about. I'm pretty sure it's taking over, if not number one. Like
yeah,
it's number two
climbing.
right behind
It's
it.
climbing.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It'll only bring more and more eyes to
Just juice them
to
up
it,
and bring
though.
them our way.
Yeah.
And that was their idea with the sports memorabilia too. Was just like,
Yeah.
because you got these retired dudes coming through, and it's just like, oh, I like that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, connection with the player. Just
Yeah.
man, this is my favorite player. I want some money off him or something.
Yeah.
You never know what
Whatever
it
it
is.
is,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's interesting. I never really thought about how
Me
many
neither. And then they told me.
how many like spectrums of like sports fans there are too.
And
Like it's way
eras.
bigger than
And eras of like
Exactly,
guys,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
some guys are gonna appreciate the '90s guys way
Right.
more than these new guys, you know.
Right.
So, what's your favorite sports memorabilia thing you've gotten?
Yeah, what's your holy grail? What's your like top two or something?
I mean, the best things we've
Probably
gotten.
the Antonio Brown Raiders frame, right?
Oh yeah. That lasted
After
about
you
a
got
week.
cut.
Yeah, we jumped on that.
Yeah, that
That
was a good
lasted
one.
about a week. I mean, I think the best piece we've ever had. I know that Patrick Mahomes' rookie year, we got a Kansas City Patrick Mahomes ball. I mean, we sold it before he became the MVP, so we didn't make too much money on it. But that's probably the best piece that we've had. We've had some frames, and it was hard for us at first to get the turnover on it, but we collaborated with some tattoo shops. We told them like, we'll put the frame in your shop, and that got some eyes on it and things like that. But yeah, I mean, really, we have a lot of small pieces. That's kind of our thing, right now. So we can make sure that no matter who walks in the door, if they have a favorite team, we got them covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your crazy heaters with the sneakers?
Crazy. The most fire kicks we have.
You have I obviously go to the Instagram right now, AC Elite, because it's like millions of pairs of sneakers. It feels like, but like, what's like the ones that you like the most, or the ones that are in your personal collection even?
Ah man, see the sad part is I shrunk my personal collection up.
Yeah.
Once this business got real, I had to get rid of some kicks and stuff to make this vision work. But, I got these Bred 11s on right now that just came out. These are probably some of my favorite. Any Jordan 11s, some of my favorite shoe out there, retro. Yeezys, a lot of Yeezys are, different colorways. I have the Zebras, the OG Pirate Blacks. They just broke down the middle, though. I don't know how that happened. A couple of years in, I guess. And watch out, Yeezys crack, I guess. I don't know. Now they're like a sandal, so I put them up in the closet, but that was disappointing. But, yeah, just, any retro 11, Jordan 1s are really hot right now. The resale on those things are through the roof. If I could, I would have every pair, but the resale on them is crazy. So yeah, just Jordan 11s, Yeezys. Those are everyone, any shoe that everyone likes.
Yeah, I mean we're growing. I mean we're gonna get to the point where we're getting a lot of the collaboration type sneakers. Like the Travis Scott things, the Off Whites and things like that. I mean that's definitely gonna be there.
Yeah.
But we also definitely want to be able to have different types of price points, and like I was saying before, it's important to us to make sure that most of our sneakers come to us locally too, because really if someone bought it from around here, there's other people who have the same type of vibe. So we already know if someone around here owns it, someone else around here is going to want it. So if you have good condition pair of nice sneakers, bring them to the shop, man. Like we'll look at them, we'll buy them. You're going to be able to do consignment through us. We're going to take a very low percentage on consignment, compared to the industry, because really keeping it in the community is something that we want to make sure that we do.
The best feeling was, we had our pop-up here with Chris here at Passport. That was when we kind of launched the consignment. We never really messed with it. We launched it. I think a local kid from SLO came in, dropped off a pair of Space Jam 11s, which are, pretty rare, high price. They weren't even worn, they're expensive resale. I mean, we got those things. A friend from Paso came by to check up the pop-up, and he's like, you got any size? I think it was 9. And we had some Yeezys, and he wasn't kind of feeling them, And I think Chris went to the back and was like, man, you just guys got these, Chris is the one that, sold them, So, and so, he tried them on. He's like, man,
I've sold a few Yeezys.
Yeah. So,
I am a sneaker seller.
Yeah. So, Chris picks up quick, man. This guy picks up anything, So
if people pay, I'll sell.
Yeah. He taught me some key selling notes that day, So it was kind of a cool experience. But that feeling of consignment, texting that kid and being like, hey, man, we just sold your sneakers. Come pick up your money. The kid was like, no way, man. Like, really, I just made, $200, $300, off them shoes. So it was a cool feeling to be able to, put money back into the community for kids that, collect shoes or whatever it is. So
that's cool.
Can you kind of explain that for people who don't understand what consignment is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, consignment basically is when you use our platform to sell your shoes. So,
instead of like
at
using
a percentage.
stock
at a
or
percentage.
We keep a percentage. We're gonna keep 10% for ourselves, but we feel like that's reasonable considering the fact that we're gonna have people coming into our shop,
and you can't
specifically looking for shoes. So
there's like StockX and GOAT, but all those places have way more fees. The shipping, all that type of stuff. So you lose more.
Yeah, and I mean the money's not staying in your community either. Yeah. So it's like. I mean, for me, if I could sign a pair of shoes and then I saw someone walking down in my city with those same pair of shoes, like I would immediately feel like, hey, that's my friend right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like he had the same style as I had at one point, and he wants to buy the shoes too. So like there's a connection there that we're trying to make locally, keeping it within the Central Coast.
That's pretty dope. I didn't know you guys did consignment deals and stuff like that.
Definitely.
You need to get rid of.
You guys ever thought about doing streetwear?
We are doing streetwear.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I say streetwear, I guess that's a way too broad term. I mean, like Supreme and like things that are really exclusive drop based.
I would say we thought about it, but it's really just not our style. And
I've never been a fan of it. It's a whole new lane.
I think from the beginning,
V-Lone, Off-White.
Yeah, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, from the beginning, just one thing that me and Alex always kind of agreed on was that we were only going to do things that we were passionate about, and just for us, the Supreme and things like that, we never really had that fire about it.
Mm-hmm. I think you also have to think.
I mean, I'd wear it, I'd buy it.
I think Chris has some tricks up his sleeve with bringing a different twist than what you kind of see in Passport. He's going to bring to Paso. So I mean, if he wants to expand on some drops that he might be bringing, that's on him.
We have idea like streetwear. I mean, as far as just like. we'll take care of you as far as
Yeah.
apparel goes. Like I have you covered from
Yeah.
head to toe. So,
Dope.
and then on top of that, like even then, I was telling them, and it's something that they're potentially willing to like. You have to think of sports memorabilia as more than just jerseys. Like it could be literally champion. It could be vintage. It could be championship T-shirts. It could be an array of different, like say there was just like a Lakers vintage tee that single stitch that came in, and of course they'll sell it. It's sports, So I think that is more important than like, I mean, you can go on Supreme right now that dropped on Thursday, and there you could still find some tees on there. So that whole streetwear culture of like, that I can go on this on date for days, but that whole like resale culture is kind of like fading out in the sense, to me, especially in this area. I don't believe that people are willing to pay because they have the time to do their research and understand that, opposed to in LA when you got like plastic surgeon daddy that's just like, oh yeah, I'll pay that here. None of our dads are plastic surgeons.
I mean, not to hate on it, but I just feel like it goes against the whole philosophy of keeping things in the community and just having that kind of like that vibe that we want to have in our store.
And I know Chris, the cool thing about this store is every piece has a different story.
Yeah.
Every artist and design, it all means something different, and I think that's cool to break the Supreme logo.
Every piece has a different selling story for sure.
I mean, all those, nothing wrong with Supreme and V-Lone and Off-White, it's just a higher price tag just because, like he's saying, you have that
Same
rich
t-shirt.
parent or whatever it is, I mean, me.
And I'm not dissing at that.
No, I mean,
for sure.
I had an Off-White crew neck, it was nice. I went to Traffic LA and the Beverly Center, paid $500. After a couple wears, it kind of got a little small on me and I had to get rid of it, but it's just like, what was really the purpose of that piece? I didn't really care for it, it was just the hype of Off-White.
And that's always been my thing, is just like, bro, because you can get a pair of $2,000 sneakers and you can get a $1,000 hoodie. And my thing has always been, bro, I can make you look 10 times better and I can make you look 10 times better 20 times with the amount you spent on it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my thing. Is always like, I'm honest. If something doesn't look good on you, I'll tell you straight up. But I'll make sure that you walk out looking good, because at the same time, you're my walking canvas. I want to make sure you look good out there on the streets, because that turns around and comes back to, where did you get that? Why do you look so good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, everybody, to me, like I literally talk to, like you were here with those guys before. I was like, I'm gonna sell this.
Yeah,
to this guy.
yeah. You're like, I got
Gonna
this
look
guy.
good
I
in
got
this.
this. I
He's
got
gonna look
this.
good in this. He's
walked
like, I
out
got
confident,
this.
put it
Yeah.
on as he walked out.
confident,
He
but
walked
looked
out-
good.
he walked out
looked
with
good.
it on.
He wasn't gonna go to the party. Now he's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was just like, I'm gonna stay in tonight. I don't feel confident. No, just like let's get you suited and let's get you out there and come back and tell me your head count.
That's pretty fire. That's pretty,
Come back an accomplished man in the morning.
tell me your
I'm
head
still
count,
wearing
he said. Jesus, he goes to sleep in it after and shit. No, I was gonna ask you. So, how was the pop-ups? Because we kind of talked a little bit about it. You said it went good, but what was like the real turnout? Because I didn't see it visually. Was it like I don't know what to relate it to. I guess I haven't.
I mean, we didn't really know what to expect. So for us, we were just kind of like looking at it as the vibe was great, and that's kind of what we wanted. But I think Chris had more of like a numbers.
My
type
thing was
and
like, I'm like numbered breakdown, but at the end of it, I was like, did you guys make money? They're like, yeah. So I was like, it was successful.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
So like there was people here, they got to meet new people, and on top of that, we just got like I'm big on like growth. So like I am very much like everything is a learning experience. Like right now, I learned that I shouldn't wear a crew neck in an interview because I'm hot. So this is something I know. Like next time, just wear a single layer. But I'm saying like I overanalyze everything to where. So when I was there and I'm sitting with them and like Alex was in the middle of a sale and I was like, bro, after I was like, let's talk about this sale. Let's talk about how we could have made that sale faster. Let's talk about how we could, so it was it was cool because like we got to understand we got to work together and we got to understand the way that we work. And overall, if we didn't do the pop-up, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Right.
So what we got from that was very successful.
Yeah. So like the Paso one, that was kind of just like us, like Anthony was saying, like we didn't know what to expect. We kind of just networked, like, okay, let's get a DJ here. It was at a local gym, so he already had a good following. Shout out to my guy Bradford at the lab. He was kind of one that kind of.
And they just opened up that lab, right?
Yeah, so
it was
just
relatively
kinda,
recent to their opening.
Yeah, it was somewhat new. So, and then, he made it fun he had like a first hour, people were working out and stuff, so they got to kind of see what we were about. It was a good turnout, you know, like local friends supporting us and stuff. But you know, we were satisfied, but we knew it wasn't enough. You know, we were just like, man, like we really could, you know, up it, you know,
need
take
that
it
next
to
tier.
yeah,
You need
exactly.
that
So
next
that's
tier.
when Chris, you know, and for us here, it was a whole like learning experience. You know, it was fun environment. You know, we had, you know, DJ 7 here again, and it was a good time. But like Chris was saying, you know, he was like teaching us as the teacher the whole time, you know, because I have, you know, like I said, no business background, no sales background, so it's all new to me. So, you know, Chris is being observant, you know, watching me interact and stuff, and he'd be like, man, like, you got to have them put on the shoe, because once they have it on, it's like they might not want to take it off, you know, or bring out the other one, you know.
Or give them, put both in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was little tips like that, you know, that I was just like, oh, yeah, man, these are dope. You know, just, you know, trying to sell to them verbally, but it's like you give them the actual shoe and stuff like
The
that.
box and all.
Yeah, exactly.
Put them
It's
on
like,
and walk them to the
right,
register.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But they
you
don't
know,
fit. It's okay.
Yeah.
They'll stretch.
So that whole pop-up was really cool, you know. It was, the one here was really, you know, what kind of made us like this whole, like you said, like where we're at now is from that pop-up.
Yeah, I think the one here kind of was like kind of eye-opening and like reinforcing to the fact that like we knew we wanted to open a store, but then when we did the pop-up here, we kind of like looked at each other like, wait, so if we open a store, we get to do this shit every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something
Like,
we're
and like the
passionate about,
vibe
have
was
fun.
cool, and
Yeah.
it was fun, and the time went by like so fucking fast that it was just like, you know, it kind of just reinforced what we kind of already knew. Like, yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to open up the store. We want to bring people. Part of it is bringing people into the store for sports memorabilia that end up buying a sneaker, or bringing people into the store for a sneaker that end up buying sports memorabilia. So when we
Or a shirt or
when
whatever.
we
it is, it's
collaborated
like,
with
oh,
Chris and people came in here for Passport and we're like, oh, you guys are doing a pop-up today? Or people came in here with a pop-up and we're like, oh, I'm going to also browse around and buy something from Passport. We just kind of saw that and we were like, yeah, this is exactly it. Like, this is kind of the vibe that we want to have.
And
for
I think
sure.
was a cool feeling too for them was like for their first one, and this is how it goes in life, just in general. Your friends will support you in the beginning, but then like my friends from the beginning, none of my friends in the beginning, they're still my friends, buy anything from me. But your friends support you in the beginning, and then eventually they taper off. So this one was a new show. They're like, well, we really didn't know anybody, so it was kind of like a reward. It was a cool feeling for them because they were like, wait, we didn't know anybody. And we like we made money off of people we don't know. Just like for you, I'm sure your podcast, your friends, your close friends probably don't listen like they used to anymore, but now you got new viewers.
Yeah.
There's
So
subscribers.
and that's where like like I said, I just get too deep, but I just feel like a lot of people, and they didn't give up, they didn't taper off from that. They were just like, well, fuck, we just want to continue to meet new people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it's all about.
So
You know, for me at least, it's like, you know, I'm always around the youth, so it's about inspiring, you know, the youth, you know, in the Central Coast, you know, it's like, you know, I coach basketball, I'm around, you know, teenagers, you know, we work at a group home, we're around teenagers, you know, and it's like when we started the shoe thing, you know, via Instagram, it's like, you know, a couple kids I coach, you know, they would buy shoes from us, and then I see, you know, on the Explore page or whatever it is, they started their own Instagram page trying to sell sneakers, you know, and it's not like nothing where we're like, oh no, they shouldn't be doing that, they're taking away from us. It's like, man, that's a cool feeling, because this would have never ever been presented to them to try to, like, you know, take a jump, take a risk, and just try it themselves, you know. So
And it's
kinda-
entirely possible.
Yeah,
Please
so-
come into our
so-
store, buy shoes, and sell them to your friends.
Yeah,
Please do
so-
that.
but
Like,
it's
that's
just
the
like-
kind of vibe that
more.
we're trying
it's
to
just
put out
cool.
there,
It's
you
just
know?
cool to see the kids like try to do that, you know, because like you said, the culture here has never been presented, but now it's like us bringing it here. These kids are like, man, let me try this, you know, and it's like, go for it, man. We'll support you guys to the fullest, you know. So it's never just like us. We want it all. We want all the credit. You know, as we're trying to support the community. I'd love to see other kids, you know, selling sneakers and making money off of it to, you know, fill up their tank with gas, buy some new clothes, whatever it is.
It's
you
cool
know?
as fuck to hear you guys say that, because it's cool to see that you guys are trying to build not just yourselves but everyone else. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
it's inspiring for me to hear that from you guys. So I think I see the passion and driven that
Right.
drives you guys. It's really fucking
Yeah.
cool.
It's gonna be sick. I'm particularly I couldn't fucking say that. God damn. Particularly excited for you guys' store, because it's gonna be like I feel like it's gonna turn into a hub for like the music scene and like the artists in Paso, because there's nothing, because I can speak for myself, like the only thing that we have for that's music related that I can think of that comes to my mind is Manny's. And who the fuck's gonna go kick it at Manny's? You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna go.
Yeah, I
Might get
fuck
some-
with
might get
Manny.
in some
I love
trouble.
you, Manny.
It is cool. It is cool, but
I-
we might get in some trouble.
I'm
over
not
there,
gonna
you
go
know.
to the Paso Bowl.
I love
hang out
Manny.
on 22nd Street. You know,
It's
Yeah.
it's
all
it's
the
just one
streets
of
are
those
numbered,
things.
Yeah, 1 through 32 or whatever it
yeah,
is.
34th or something
34th,
like
yeah.
that.
One of them.
Go down Spring.
tight.
But another small twist that we haven't really talked about is with this storefront. A lot has to be figured out still, how we're gonna operate it and do it. But we're trying to do in-store signings. This area, for me growing up, playing basketball my whole life, it was every summer. Once again, my parents paid for me, to go to basketball camps. I went to, Lakers camp, Michael Jordan camp, and I got to get autographs from these guys, and meet them. And as a kid growing up on the coast, you don't get that exposure or those opportunities. So
we're deprived.
It was a cool experience, So we want to bring this storefront. We want to bring athletes to the storefront and be able to give that back to the community, like these kids being able to meet. Shout out to my guy, Josh Oliver, but like bring him back home,
for real.
And like let him sign for these young youth that look up to him because he made it to the league and stuff like that. Opportunities.
Athlete of the year.
Exactly.
Bro. It's
So
crazy.
Check your DMs, Josh. There's a DM about the Sunday
We're
Sesh
trying to
sitting in
get you
there.
on here too. Yeah.
Keep the DMs.
Shout out Josh though. Shout out there's so many heads that would definitely just come back and sign jerseys. I mean, Van Dyke from the Steelers, he would come back. I think it's just cool to put it back into your hometown.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I can
that.
name a handful of them. Patrick Laird, he's from here. He went to Mission Prep.
Also,
he's
check
on
your DMs.
Yeah, he's on the Dolphins. These guys are from the coast that made it. And the youth here look up to that. So it's
check your primary and the general.
Requests. You probably don't follow me. No cap.
We got some fans outside.
Yeah, we got some fans. Doors
What
locked.
Bright lights.
Sorry. Taurus.
That's funny.
You should see when I'm doing this and I'm live.
Oh yeah.
Because have you guys ever seen my lives? They're pretty
I
ridiculous.
was on it last night.
Yeah, they're like sometimes I really get into them. Like start taking my shirt off and shit.
Everyone go check out Chris's live.
there
You're
you
trying
go.
to get
Yeah,
free
Just start changing clothes, and then I realize, and then after
Look for his OnlyFans in about 1 month.
Buy his private
There's only
snap
2
soon.
people on the live. I'm
That's
giving shit away though.
I saw the live and like people had walked in behind you, like this got awkward, and then you walked back in the other room.
Because they got really awkward because they were just standing there staring like it was like a show.
Yeah,
And I was like, all right, let me.
that's funny. Anyways, I think that's pretty much all we have. We're reaching like the hour mark right now. Where can they find you? What's your Instagram handles, social media?
What's your open date? I had a quick question. Last question.
April 1st.
Roughly,
no
just give us a rough.
Man, if
Look,
everything went smooth,
yeah.
we would shoot for, maybe the weekend of March 21st, March 22nd. But
Dope.
if it comes down to it, April 1st.
Right on.
Yeah.
We'll say April 1st.
Yeah. So
We'll say
I'm
just
good
April
with that.
1st.
Yeah.
So,
April 1st.
No
Yeah.
joke.
Right on. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be there if you guys can do something for the
Oh,
opening.
yeah, we're gonna let everyone know. We're having a grand opening. We'll have something special planned, I'm sure. With
For
sure.
sure, you can come
For
to
sure.
a Rager at some point in the
Yeah.
early
Yeah.
months.
We'll come
Yeah.
vlog it. We'll come
Yeah.
vlog the
Yeah.
opening and everything. It'll be a whole thing.
Yeah,
It'll be
that's
sick.
all. We're trying to get on that
The
vlog
plan is
life.
to get some 1942 bottles in there, and people.
I'm
will be
only gonna
feeling
let
good
you
and
vlog.
spend some money.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna let you
That's
vlog
fine.
though if you put a GoPro on your head and you're just wearing the GoPro.
Oh,
head.
I'll get Nate a
And then
GoPro
you have
head
to
man.
crowd surf. If you
about
don't
the
have a crowd,
chesty?
we'll make a crowd.
The
About the
chest.
chest.
I'll
No,
wear
I
like a
want the
romper
headband.
too.
You have to
Or
have the
some-
headband.
We'll come goofy, all dressed up too, and
That's what
just
it's
be
about.
we'll be extra.
And then I want you to put it. Oh, we should put a GoPro on a bottle.
Not a bottle.
That's
tight.
fire.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
that's actually
That's
really
sick.
fire.
Yeah.
Really
It
fun
would actually
shot.
stay on there too.
Yeah.
And like a
A
J
bottle
or
of
something.
prosecco. That would be so cool. Just watching everybody drink prosecco.
Put one on a 1942 bottle and then
No,
like
is
a
it
cheap
Prosecco?
pop-off
No, what's
bottle
the
and see
mineral
the,
water?
the reactions people get when they open them. Like,
Or fill one with water and see what their
Right.
reaction is after.
Yeah, just
Something
fill it.
stupid.
Just straight fill. I feel like you get dirtier looks if you put like water inside of a 1942 bottle than you
Right.
do.
People's
like,
reactions.
like people are just like,
You know, there's that one person who's just like, "Fuck it," and just starts chugging it.
Act like
anyway.
it's
Yeah,
getting,
like me
act
when
like
I
it's
was
getting them
20.
drunk.
I'll just chug it and pretend to be drunk.
and just like really extra, just overload.
That's funny. Anyways, so at Elite Passport on Instagram, elite.passport.
Correct.
Yeah.
At Passport Slow, at Passport Chris.
At Passport Slow, at Passport Chris, at Passport, or at least Elite Passport.
Elite.passport.
What are your
Elite
two
dot
personals too? Throw the personals
So
out
mine's
there.
AC_Big Ant, BIGANT.
Mine's Alexis Chaidez, and then the business one is elite.passport.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been Nate Nasty Sunday Sesh. Nate Nasty with 4 Ys on Instagram, by the way. DJ_Rally. You already know what it is. It's been Nate Nasty Sunday Sesh. It's your boy Nate,
It's your boy Deej.
and we out.